Designed with the driver in mind, the all-new Mazda CX-90 is the perfect blend of high-performance appearance and world-class refinement. Right now, get 0.9% financing on the all-new CX-90 at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer. Team Mazda, a member of the Team Automotive Group.
That would be concerning and maybe set a precedent moving forward.
If you have plans to be outside, you might hit a couple of these little passing showers.
A drug bust and a few arrests made. Look at what they hauled in here.
Good morning. Double fisting on a Thursday morning. How are you?
Why do I keep walking up here with these two things?
You're super hydrated.
As soon as I do it, I'm like, and then I'm looking for places to put it down.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave it here because this thing turns.
We spin. It's like a lazy Susan.
And then, and then Lazy Matt has to clean up the mess that I've made. Because coffee goes everywhere.
That's
you know
okay.
It doesn't react well with carpet. It just goes right in.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look what you did over here.
I know. Steve's been painting us a beautiful sunrise here. We've had a layer of cloud coverage, which I've been paying attention.
Yeah.
Apparently, some of this cloud coverage, Steve, and correct me if I'm wrong, actually kind of helps with some of the fog, keeping that at bay?
That's right, yeah. Fog is kind of favored when we have clear skies overhead.
Wow.
So right now with these clouds that have rolled in overnight, I think that's a big part of why we're not seeing nearly as much fog around South Louisiana this morning. We do technically have a dense fog advisory still in effect through 10 a.m. for most of the area, but also most of us doing okay. However, watch out Ascension Parish. We're now down to a quarter-mile visibility in Gonzales. Macomb, Bogalusa have been dealing with the fog really through the overnight and early this morning, but you note the fog is much more isolated this morning than recent days, and thus far seems like New Orleans East has been doing okay. That's some good news. So there's that shot once again. Our Sky 9 camera brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, showing mostly overcast skies this morning. A mild start here for early November. Most of us in the low to mid 60s. Baton Rouge 64. Gonzales right now 63 degrees. Even with the clouds, going to be a pretty warm day. Low 80s at noon. Low to mid 80s for highs, about 10 degrees above normal. Mainly dry during the day, but by late today and this evening, we could squeeze out a couple of showers. So 20% rain chance late today, but tomorrow and Saturday, those rain chances climb to 60%, maybe a little bit of a lull Sunday before we get another round potentially into early next week. Now, these are model rain forecasts for Baton Rouge through 7 o'clock Saturday. And what you'll note is most of them showing modest amounts, generally under a ½ inch. The NAM, a bit of an outlier, and I think a bit too wet. So just some light to moderate rain, it looks like, for most of us Friday and Saturday. Then we add on some more potentially early next week. Now, this is the Weather Prediction Center outlook showing heaviest rains from Texas out into the Gulf of Mexico. But even in our part of the world, over the next 7 days, they go anywhere from 1.25 inches to 2.5 inches of rain on average, which we could certainly use. But look at what the European does. Third day in a row it's been doing this, really hitting us hard with some heavy rains early next week. 5 to 10 inches or more of rainfall showing up. That would be too much of a good thing all at once. The GFS, much closer to the Weather Prediction Center, showing 1 to 3 inches of rain on average. So why the big split? Well, it's all about this area low pressure early next week. This is Monday evening at 7 o'clock. The GFS keeps that low a little farther offshore, keeps most of the heavier rains just offshore Louisiana. The European tracks the low much closer to our coast, brings much more of that heavier rain inland, so that is something we're going to be tracking. I think either way we get decent rains out of it early next week. The big question is how much, so we'll keep an eye on that. Most of the rain this weekend, light to moderate stuff, but if you're headed to the Southern or LSU campuses on Saturday, I think a poncho, don't put the good shoes on, could be wet and kind of muddy in spots. It's going to be noticeably cooler this weekend. Then we'll keep an eye on the rains early next week. Second half of next week should be a bit quieter. 7:06 now with a check on your Thursday morning drive. Here's Johnny Ace.
Thank you, Steve Caparata. Good morning, everyone. We're looking okay coming in from Gonzales. The Denham to Baton Rouge run is very slow this morning, and it does start to back up before Jubin Crossing, all the way into the heart of Denham right here at Range and into East Baton Rouge Parish. We have a little traffic on Old Hammond Highway in both directions as well. Florida Boulevard at the Central Thruway is also an intersection that carries a little bit of traffic right there. And I-12 right here, as I-10 as you make your way to the 10-12 merge, a little slower traffic right past Essen as you make your way through those tight, very narrow lanes over the over the 10-12. 55 north still closed, southbound down to 1 lane around that area where the wreck was a few weeks ago, and they're still repairing that side. Hopefully they'll be finished with that within the week or two, and then they'll move over to the northbound side. And the good news is for folks on Slidell going down toward the Twin Spans and in the New Orleans East, I-10 open in both directions. So let's take a look at a couple of things. Here's I-55 north and southbound. Middendorf's is open, by the way, never closed. And then there's a gorgeous shot right there near the Irish Bayou exit off of I-10 West, I-10 East and West open right there in New Orleans East. So that's fantastic news for those folks. And if you are going out toward the airport from Baton Rouge to Kenner on I-10 East, 60 minutes, right at an hour. All right, we're going to give you a little summary of some of the stories you might have missed during our WAFB broadcast of 9 News this morning. And for that, we go to Studio B and Matt Williams and Liz Coe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning to you, Johnny. Glad traffic's looking a lot better on this Thursday morning.
Yeah, the headline, the traffic looking better, but
yeah.
Scenic Highway, speaking of getting out there on the drive,
yeah.
Apparently the scene of a late night shooting in Baton Rouge. 2 injured?
Yeah, Baton Rouge police telling us 2 people were injured. We don't know the extent of their injuries just yet. We're working to figure out kind of what that situation is. All we know right now is where it happened. 2810 Scenic Highway, not far from Chippewa. You can see it's actually right off of I-110 heading to the airport there. That's about all we know right now. Waiting on the victim's conditions, waiting to find out exactly how this happened.
Right.
But if you can help fill some of those holes here, please call Crime Stoppers at 344-STOP to help plug in those gaps so we can get some answers too.
That number works because of you. All right, let's talk a little bit about the roads. It was not clear sailing actually out in Central. Crash along Greenwell Springs Road. This is late yesterday, well, kind of early evening time frame.
Yeah.
2 vehicles involved here, 2 people injured, 1 critical.
Yeah, Chief Roger Corcoran of the Central Police Department, he told us that this actually happened on Greenwell Springs Road, kind of by J.L. Fairchild Road, right around 4 p.m. So the chief tells us that there was actually a black sedan driving along that road, driving kind of erratically, ending up in the center lane and then crashing into another SUV. Well, the driver of that black vehicle in critical condition right now, and we're told the driver of the other vehicle, that SUV, some minor injuries right now. So we're waiting on more on what that happened and maybe the identities here of who's involved. When we get more information from Central Police, we'll pass those along to you through the 9 News app.
We'll be right there waiting for you as well. I want to let you know, of course, early voting again underway today. You have 2 days left. Today and Saturday, obviously those early voting locations shut down on Friday in observance of Veterans Day. So make sure you get out there today. If you're looking for those polling locations, I've got an idea where you can find them.
GoVote.com. We also have them listed for you in this story on the 9 News app. Easy to take with you.
Yeah.
Make sure you take a look at that sample ballot so you can make that process easy and quick.
You'll be 30 seconds in that booth if you do that beforehand. I guarantee it is that fast, that quick. Oh, hey, speaking of fast, speaking of quick, EBR schools right now trying to get a handle quickly, as another school year approaches down the road, on some of the comments, critiques, concerns, wishes from parents in the district. They've got a little listening tour going on.
It's called the Listen and Learn series, right? So another meeting today, the 5th in the series. It's going to be at Capitol Middle School. Dr. Cedro Narcisse kind of weighing in on parents, teachers, everyone in the community. They want everyone involved in the process to weigh in and say, what is working well, what isn't, what complaints do you have so we can improve for the next school year. If you'd like to weigh in tonight, that meeting is happening at Capitol Middle School. That meeting starts at 5:30 today. Again, really important opportunity to sound off what you think are problems and even what is working, what's been fixed since the beginning of the school year.
Get heard and have a listen. I want to let you know about this. Actually, Callie Hubbard this morning talking about a number of things. Avoiding scams and the groups who are actually getting scammed right now.
Let's talk about credit repair, right? Let's say you're in a lot of debt. Well, there are people who prey on you for maybe debt consolidation or debt management. Some of those agencies are legitimate, but you have to do your research. A great place to start is the Better Business Bureau. Go to their website to find out which agency is credited, which nonprofit is actually legit to help you repair that credit.
You know, we do stories all the time on older adults getting scammed. They seem to be easy targets. You know what? Just being a human is an easy target. Scammers going after a younger group right now.
Those who are on Instagram or X, right? The targeting scams around money or maybe clothing or shopping. Be skeptical of anything you see on social media and don't give money to people you don't know. Callie making that important point that morning. Somebody can be very convincing in your DM saying, hey, I've got a great thing to offer you here. All you need to do is send me money. That should be a red flag.
Red flag everywhere. I'm sorry to say it and I hate to think like this. Believe nobody. I mean, unless they're absolutely your good friend.
Well,
and even them.
Skepticism.
Exactly. Let's get you going here as well. How about get you going with that Christmas shopping? Look, my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. It is Christmas without the crazy, right? Christmas can get crazy, so get started now.
That's it. The annual Merry Market coming to the Lamar-Dixon Expo Center back in the Rev building. We're talking with Ann Auger, the owner and organizer of this Merry Market. There's going to be 260 vendors.
That is insane.
It's a lot happening this Saturday and Sunday. You can get tickets online, which we have the link to in the story, but you can also get them right at the door, $10, and the parking is free.
That last little part right there, parking is free.
Yeah.
Because sometimes at some of these events, they'll be like, yeah, showing up, tickets $10, parking's like 50. No. Free parking.
Yes.
So good. I want to let you know about this as well. Obviously, Veterans Day quickly approaching. We just talked about that with the early voting. We want to see your vets and share your stories of the veterans in your life. Here's how you do it.
9reports.com is what you're going to pull up here. We have a bubble called Veterans Day. Sergeant Clancy Dyer, Sergeant Sherman Bell, all these stories and photos shared with us. Please send us your photos so we can show them off to our community too. It's a small way for us to say thank you to our community full of veterans. Love that.
So please, send it in so we can shout them out right along with you. Hey, a little bit of shouting going on last night at the Baton Rouge River Center. You saw what happened? Baton Rouge Zydeco getting their first win of their inaugural season.
Yeah, how about it? The Columbus River Dragons, they slayed those River Dragons. Finally, they play them tonight again, 7:30?
7:30 back at the River Center, right?
Go ahead, Zydeco.
A bunch of home games to kind of get going with the season. Did you see this? Southern University men's basketball, they got this epic road trip going on to start the season. They're taking on some power teams. UNLV, they've got a national title in their program history. They were an elite team for like about a decade. Yeah. They just beat them.
Go ahead, Southern. Getting a road win against a ranked team, big deal.
Well, not quite ranked yet, UNLV, but they're very good. It's a tough squad.
Big win for Southern.
It's huge. Then. You're right. Absolutely huge.
Keep that momentum going as they play some other tough teams on the road. The women's too. Y'all, this is a pretty big win. We've got the Zydeco to celebrate. We've got Southern to celebrate. Some big times in our part of the world.
The ladies at home. LSU Lady Tigers at home?
Yeah,
tonight.
I know Matt will get this reference, but hearing about UNLV takes me back a ways. Jerry Tarkanian, the coach back in the day, their heyday, the national title. He'd chew on a towel.
On the sideline.
It was no tradition. Yeah, that was his thing. And
absolutely.
Hadn't thought about him in a long time, but great win for the Jags.
Yeah, he beat Duke that year, man. That was right before Mike Krzyzewski got going on that run with the Blue Devils. So, heck of a title for Tark back in the day.
Yeah, okay, we'll see how that all plays out the rest of this season. We'll see you in another 10 minutes. Have a great rest of your day.
The winning play is the Buy Here, Sell Here event at the Team Automotive Group. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here and you'll be the winner at every location of the Team Automotive Group.